What's up, everyone? Welcome to the ESR. Chris Puckett joined by Solid Jake once again. Jake, why you look so bummed?
Yo, man, I played the new Smash. I'm not that bummed, but
You look kind of bummed.
little disappointing.
Little bit bummed,
Little,
Jake.
little disappointing.
Well, we got a lot to talk about today. Of course, we have more of your X Games highlights. Yesterday, we gave you kind of the top level stuff, what went down in the bronze, as well as gold medal matches. What? Well, today, we're going to dive a little bit deeper, show some of the earlier rounds and some teams that you should look out for coming into Anaheim. Now, also, we have, of course, you did a Smash show last night after watching the Super Smash Bros. Invitational. Want to get your thoughts on that. And we have all the news on Anaheim you guys could possibly want. We have your casters to announce as well. That'll come up in our second segment. But let's start things off, as always, with some Smash talk. Jake, let's start it off with the conversation from last night. So, Super Smash Bros. Invitational, chance to see it for the Wii U for the first time. What were your initial impressions?
So, I mean, overall, the show was amazing. I mean, they put on a great production. They rented out the Nokia Theater. They filled it out. They gave all the fans these booklets with different characters. Like, you know, if you like Pikachu, you could hold up the Pikachu and stuff. I don't know. It was pretty cool. Really good show. The stage was impressive. I was really happy with the production to see Nintendo do something like this. The format was a bit weird. We knew going into it we had these free-for-alls with items and whatnot. And at first, you know, it was kind of hard to tell what the game looked like. But once we saw the 1v1 in the finals, it was very campy. It was very, very slow pace. It reinforced, you know, defensive play rather than the offensive.
Let's break down what happened. They had an 8-minute 1v1.
Yeah.
And it drew. Like, they went to the time limit, and then instant sudden death where it's basically one hit and you're dead.
Right. And to clarify, I mean, the two guys playing, Hungrybox is notorious for playing a very defensive style Jigglypuff in Melee, so he's one of the more defensive players. So based on that, maybe it's just the players that are actually playing in their play style showing through and going to the timer like that. But at the same time, I mean, the first ever 1v1 match we have in the game goes to timer. That's not the most exciting thing.
And it's not for any money.
No,
so
no.
When money's on the line, I think we'll see even more camping. But you brought up an interesting idea on Twitter today saying that maybe this game can now be played with 2v2. Adding more people to the map might force some interaction.
Right. Now, I actually went to Nintendo World this morning to play the game myself. I got to go try it out. I got to play the game because they have it available at Best Buys. You can all around the country. You can go today. You can try it yourself. And it's at Nintendo World here in New York all week. But you know, based on the game, when you're on the ground, it's pretty quick. It's pretty fast paced. But when you're in the air, it's kind of slow. So I was thinking, well, in a team composition, this could actually definitely benefit because the stages are a little bit larger than what we're used to seeing. The ceilings are a little bit higher, so people tend to live a little bit later. But I was thinking this could be really good for twos and might even be just a different direction for the game in general.
Mixing it up a little, it could be interesting. Finally, a team play potential to overtake singles in a tournament. Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens now. Do you think this game is done? Is what we saw yesterday going to be the out-of-the-box final product?
You know, they went and they talked to a lot of the players that they invited to come play out. They wanted feedback. They asked the guys, what can we do to make this more exciting, make it more fun? So they could go back to the drawing board and like really just tweaking numbers here and there, tweaking the lag when you dash back and forth and stop to make it so you can dash dance. Give more options for movement. That's really what they need to do, give more movement options. So there's a lot of little things that could do that would be just kind of across the board and little effort. From what I'm not a game designer, but from what I understand, I don't think it would be too difficult to do. So who knows? We might see a completely different version of the game, 2 months from now. Who knows?
All right, well, we are going to see the old school version of the game at Anaheim, of course. The Anaheim Pro Circuit is going to feature Melee. We're going back to the 06 days, playing on a GameCube. And we have a very special profile. I know you're a big fan of this guy, one of the best smashers from all of Europe. Who are we looking at today?
So Armada is like the first international player to come out and be known as like one of the best. I mean, historically, North America was really dominant, and this guy made everyone look at Europe as a force, which is quite the thing to do. And he is the Peach. He is the #1 Peach player in the world, and he recently started playing Fox because he's been having trouble with Leffen. And Armada, he kind of retired. He kind of stopped playing. He said, I'm just going to play 2v2s. Maybe a little Project M. He didn't even enter singles at Apex this year, which was like a big statement after getting first place at Apex 2013. So he came to Apex, he didn't enter singles, and then Skatar was kind of like his return. And he kind of had he didn't win. He wanted to win, but he didn't place as well as he'd like. So this past weekend at Super Sweet, Armada actually took the tournament. He went home, came to Super Sweet, he beat Mewtwo King. He actually 4-stocked Mewtwo King. And he beat, they beat out Mango. He beat out a lot of good competition. So it's not like there were no good players. There was a very, very stacked tournament. He took it home.
So Armada, of course, played really well in the European qualifier. So is he coming officially to Anaheim?
He is definitely confirmed. I mean, he placed well in the European qualifier. I think he placed third. I'm sorry. He placed second. And he got top 5 at Skatar. So he got plenty of points. He's well beyond qualified. He is guaranteed. His flight is booked. He will be there.
He will be there. Well, let's take a look at Armada, one of the best to ever come out of Sweden.
Adam Lindgren is my name, Armada is my gamer tag, and I'm from Gothenburg in Sweden. My main character in Melee is Peach, and in private Melee Pet. I'm not gonna drop Peach. It's like people in this community seem to like twist their own stories to make them more like, I don't know, more fun to hear. I never ever said I'm gonna drop Peach. I said at one point I want to have a fox that can compete with top foxes and against Puff. But I never ever considered dropping Peach at all. So no, she's still my main and she will remain that way. North America, or like America itself, it's such a huge country. It's basically like a continent itself. So no, I don't think so. Like America will be the dominating country, and a few exceptions here and there. That's what I think. I do think Melee Online would help a lot because it would be more accessible for players that is living in regions when they can't really play against a lot of humans, which a lot of people struggle with, unfortunately. And it feels like it's more like that in Europe, maybe because it's not as popular and maybe because people are not as good. I don't know really. I think Americans' overall advertising is better, so more people is getting into the game. But with online mode, it doesn't really matter as much where you live. Like, not in the meantime between tournaments at least. So it would help a lot. I'm very excited for MLG. Like back in the MLG days, 2006 if I don't remember incorrectly, I was like in my early days of Melee. And when I was looking at those matches, I was like on my road to become one of the good players. And I always wanted to be, at MLG or something like that. And it was so many years ago, so I'm very excited to finally having Melee back into MLG and be there myself and compete. I do think it's very fun that Team Liquid, Cloud9, Curse, and all these teams are like picking up players. I think it's very huge for our game. We're not used to having these big teams coming in and helping promote our game even more. But in the future, I think they will compete against each other and the deals will be even better for the players. So I'm very excited about that as well. When I started to play Smash, it was because I loved the game. Back in 05, Aniolo was my older brother. He told me oh, it will be a tournament in Melee, which already was my favorite game before I started to enter tournaments. So I started to play the game competitive because of love, and I will remain to play it because of that reason. Money is good, but I don't know, if you don't truly love the game, I don't think you can make it to the top. Empire Arcadia, my team, and then to my both brothers, Aniolas and Android, for always supporting me, both in Smash and in the rest of my life. So shoutouts to them. I will always see Mango as my true rival. It started that way at Genesis 1 and it will remain that way until we both stop playing this game, whenever that would be. Now when I'm in America, I will get the proper practice in, and I respect them all, but I'm not afraid of them. I'm coming strong for MLG Anaheim.
All right, so you saw that end card. Of course, Anaheim going down June 20th through the 22nd. Armada, he's bringing his A game.
He's coming strong, and he's coming for America. I love it. I love it. He was so passionate about the game and just so hyped and ready to take it. Because honestly, out of all the players, originally weeks ago, I said Armada was my pick. Now, after Skatar, PP looks just too good. PP, I'm kind of leaning towards PP, but honestly, between the two of them, they are way up there on my list. Now, easily top 2.
We did a Mango show yesterday, I believe, actually.
Yep,
we profiled Mango. So the Mango Armada rivalry, talk to me a little bit more about this. Why is this such an exciting matchup every time these two players are in a tournament?
It just goes back for such a long time, and that's kind of what made Armada what he is. The reason that Armada is considered to be so good was him dethroning Mango, essentially. Back at Genesis and Genesis 2, they kind of just had this back and forth rivalry with really, really, really intense games between the two of them. So, I mean, it really just comes down to like their history of just being in the grand finals against each other event after event after event.
Now, is there any bad blood between these guys? Is it a friendly rivalry? How's this going to work out at Anaheim?
There's a little bit of bad blood, but it's not as bad as it used to be. They've both become a lot more respectful. I'd say Armada and Leffen, there's more bad blood there.
Nice. And is Leffen confirmed at this point for Anaheim?
He is the only player who has not given me 100%.
Not 100. Come on, Leffen.
Yeah.
Step your game up. Would love to have 2 Swedish players competing at the same tournament with all the best in America, as well as around the rest of the world. So, Anaheim, Smash, massive tournament. How many players do we have signed up right now?
It's nearing that 300 mark. It's actually, I think it's going to be the biggest MLG Smash tournament in history, which is pretty awesome. And, oh my God, we're going to have the pools pretty soon. They are so stacked. I just can't wait to get those announced because I got a preview of, like, what we're probably looking at. I'm not going to spoil anything because we're going to talk about that soon. But, oh, no, I'm not going to say anything. It's
just give me 2 players in the same pool.
2 players in the same pool. All right. We got, I believe, Armada and Leffen are – no, wait. They're opposite. I'm wrong. I'm not going to say it because I'm going to say the wrong thing. I'm going to make a mistake, all right? I'm going to make a mistake.
You're a teaser, Jake.
I'm sorry. We'll have that this week for sure.
All right. I'm ready for this.
I think we'll probably do it right here in ESR.
Darn straight we will. All right, well, that is going to do it for our Smash segment. Armada, once again, one of the players to watch coming into Anaheim. It's going to be a massive Smash tournament, already nearing 300 players signed up online, and the Smash community notorious for not signing up online and signing up at the door. So I expect that number to skyrocket once we get out to California. Jake, before we go to the commercial break, anything else on Smash before we break down who's casting it?
I mean, again, I just want to talk about, like, just E3 in general looks good, but let's focus on Melee. Melee looks amazing. We have Prog D1 and Wife. This is like the dream team of casters, honestly, the way they balance it out. I'm just pumped. Can't wait to get there. And our open bracket is just as stacked as our pools. Like, we were hyping up pools, but the open bracket's going to be very good too. So
I like it. Guys, we're going to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll have the full list of casters that'll be casting all of the tournaments at MLG Anaheim, as well as the streams that you'll be able to watch all of the activity on. We'll be right back here on the ESR.